Crocker. I can't talk now. Canna Crocker. I have had multiple brain surgeries and I make a lot of verbal mistakes. So you guys may be more entertained than you are going to know here. The reason I became a cannabis patient was because I had these multiple brain surgeries. And just to go back a little bit, in 1974, I got meningoencephalitis. This is an inflammation of your brain as well as an infection of your spinal fluid. I spent 2 weeks in a coma, and when I came out, they said I was okay. And they sent me home. It was 1974, so you can imagine there wasn't all these therapies and things that I might have got benefit from now. So I was just, you have to adapt when you're brain injured. You just adapt and you try to be like everybody else. Inside you're broken. And I could never get my brain to work right. I couldn't make friendships. I couldn't get along with people the way I wanted to. But you know, I made it. I got a husband. I had several of them, as a matter of fact. And I have 2 beautiful children that I love to death. And as I raised them while I was doing Valium, I don't feel like I gave them what they deserved. But my kids love me to death now. By the time they were 16, they were saying, "Mom, please just smoke a joint. It would be better." They knew more about cannabis than I did. The first nug I ever smoked was from my son, who showed me what cannabis was about. I could not believe how much better I felt after 1 nug. Here I've been on 40 milligrams a day of Valium. I'm benzo addicted. They've given me Demerol. I'm putting 50 milligrams of Demerol in my port a day like a heroin addict. And I'm doing it 4 to 6 times a day. And then they said, "You can't have it anymore. You've already killed me by they killed me. I literally died and woke up on a ventilator because they put fentanyl patch on me after a surgery." So basically they've done the medical community, I have no faith in it whatsoever. And so I decided that I was going to heal myself. After I went online and found a brain patient advocate, which I do brain patient advocacy. If you know someone who's sick with their brain, they've got MS, lupus, or Lyme, and Meniere's and all that stuff, those are diagnoses of exclusion. I'm not going to talk about it here, but I'm going to tell you that I do look at Brain Memorize and I can show you some stuff that you would not believe because the government is covering up about these brain malformations we're being born with. It's really sad. So, moving on to cannabis. I went vegan, and I did this because a naturopath told me that part of the reason I couldn't get off the drugs was because I had malabsorbency in my gut. And it turns out I have also got intestinal paresis from all the medicines I've been on and the surgeries they've given me and all this stuff. So basically, my food doesn't even want to go through me at all. So how can I absorb the good of cannabis? So once I got plant-based, I lost 81 pounds, and I could actually think again. I was like, oh my gosh. So I'm using cannabis while I'm doing this, I'm smoking. But I come to find you cannot smoke yourself well. When you go off of drugs, oh my God, you need more than that. And that's when I learned that consuming cannabis by mouth is 5 times stronger than using it as smoking. So even though I still smoke, and I have to because it's the only way I get an appetite, I do that about 3 times a day before each meal, but the way I stay healthy is I microdose with cannabis. And I realized right away when I went into a dispensary, I almost quit edibles instantly because I already have brain trouble. I can barely stand up straight. So you get me high, I'm serious. I can't, I have to microdose. So I need to have the right amount in me. I don't want to be all high and I don't want to be in pain. So I had to figure out a way that I could put this in my system and not suffer too much or too little, the consequences. So what I did was I broke it down. One of the things I could do in my life was cook, obviously. So I took the cannabis and I realized that 1 gram is 1,000 milligrams. And so I counted, it's pretty simple to find out online, in olive oil there are 1,260 drops in 2 ounces of olive oil. So if you take the drops and you divide it by how many milligrams of cannabis oil you put in there, you may not know what it tests out to, because I personally can't afford to give you 1 test by a lab. I wouldn't have no cannabis if I did. So instead of using the cannabis you know, cannabis that's been tested and purchasing it, I cannot afford, I'm on fixed income. I take my own cannabis that I grow, or whatever cannabis you obtain, and you make it, you break it down into oil, which my book that I wrote, Canna Crocker's Guide to Microdosing, I kind of considered a handbook for new patients. The first chapter goes, I'm going to keep going in circles, but this is what brain patients do, so try to hang with me. The first part tells you a colored timeline. We've all seen these timelines on TV, online and stuff. I went through all of them and put them together, and then I put them in color. So that the green is cannabis things that happen, the red is the medical things that happen, and the black is the government things that happen. And when you look at them all together, it's much easier to explain to someone how we got where we are. And it's also a good way to look at how we're going to get out of where we are. Because the one thing I noticed when I put this timeline in here is they're doing the same thing to us over and over and over. Some of the laws that are being made right now have already been made and changed on us already. The things that are illegal now were once legal.
Well, I'd like to say this because we were informed by our attorney through this whole thing too, because you guys are, if you've read the paper, we're charged with felony with intent to distribute. Well, that's because possession charges are lower now. We have 3 patients in the car. We had to have an intent to distribute, or you're going to have a felony charge. It would be misdemeanor. So Oklahoma's lowered their misdemeanor possession, but yeah, now if you've got anywhere around now, you've got an intent to distribute, period, because that's how you get a felony. So what she's saying is absolutely true. Things are being changed now, knowing that the law's going to change. Mm-hmm. They will increase the fines on concentrates,
exactly.
The oils, and all of these things are going to happen.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm going to take questions
now.
A couple more minutes, and then we'll take some questions.
I'll get out of here quickly. And the next chapter is about what you can do as a cannabis activist. But the thing that I did in here was I broke it down step by step so you can make oil yourself. Take your cannabis, make oil. And it doesn't have to be cannabis. There's cannabinoids in all of our vegetables and herbs. So if you make basil oil, it's a great place to start. Right now, Oklahoma is illegal. But there's nothing illegal about growing basil. Basil is a great herb. It has cannabinoids in it. Learn to make basil oil, and when you get your cannabis, it's going to easily transition into making your own cannabis oil. Now, if you can afford to go to a dispensary, and you can afford that testing, and you want to do all of that, that is great. Personally, I am brain injured. I'm on fixed income. I can't do that. And so this is the way a patient can do it who's on fixed income, who can't afford the big things, and all that testing and stuff. I broke it down easy so everybody could do it, and I tried to make it in a way. My life has changed dramatically because of my cannabis use, and just exactly as she pointed out, I'm on the lines every single day. I don't have a PhD, I'm not a politician, I'm a mom, and I love my family, and I love my brothers and sisters more than anything in the world. So if any of you want help, I don't care if you buy my book or not, if you need one bad enough, I'll just give it to you, because I'm here to help change the way we see this plant, and I want to help people.
Thank you.